Hey guys, so today was quite the bearish day here. We had a really decent sized sell off. I know we only closed at 0.87 down, but we really had about a 2% intraday drop, a total of $8.76. Also, I adjusted my video quality, my resolution that I'm recording at. Let me know if this screen is better or if you guys preferred when I had it really zoomed in on just like the actual ticker window of the candles and whatnot. Let me know in the comments or in the daily chat. So I mentioned on Tuesday, this is right here, when we had the J Powell interview, that we were possibly setting up for a very similar repeat of right here. And if you look, what happened is we had this massive overreaction. That day actually ended up being a 3% plus day. And then the next day ended up basically being the top. And then we just went into this huge sell-off until we finally bounced. And then this was CPI. So we actually are seeing a very similar setup to start here. So we had the interview here. We had our potential top, which this one ended up being an inside day, but it's still a top because this was the top. And then today we come in with this massive bearish engulfing candle. We close below the daily EMA, and we come down and almost touch key 405.3 support. This was a huge day, and I mentioned on Tuesday, which I'll redraw the line here just temporarily. If you see on Tuesday, when we use the actual support line from this move up, we did break through support on Tuesday. However, we had a push up, so we had to restructure that because we didn't know for sure if that was a real breakdown or a fake breakdown. As you can see, throughout this rally, we've had these breakdowns that have led to bigger upside, but we have broken this trend here. So what I'm watching for tomorrow, and tomorrow now we should get CPI consensus finally tomorrow. If we don't get it tomorrow, we'll definitely get it on Monday. But getting that consensus will be very interesting. The Bloomberg numbers that I'm seeing so far show that most likely core and CPI year over year will probably come in favorable. Maybe a slight miss, a slight decrease, but probably be higher than consensus. And then month over month, though, is where the shock is going to come from. Month over month is projected to go from negative 1.1%, which that's a negative decrease, which was our first negative month over month print since like 2020, to 0.5%. That's a huge increase. And now if you look at last CPI, which was, I believe, let me see which day it was. I'm trying to remember on the chart here. This one. No, where is it? I think it was this Thursday. But if you look at that last CPI, we had that massive nothing burger. So we had honestly probably the best CPI numbers we've had in a year, with when you factor in the negative month over month and you factor in the fact that everything decreased pretty much. So if we get a huge rebound in month over month, it will be very, very interesting to see if the algos will catch on to that and if they'll negatively react to that. I'd be very, very interested to see how they react to a huge month over month rebound like that. So biggest things I'm watching here is we did hold this resistance line. So this could become our new potential really bear channel. But you see even that there, we broke that support. So what we really need to do here to find the true bear channel support or possible bear channel here is this. So this actually is going to turn into a really nice V-top. So this is a very nice carrot top, V-top, whatever you want to call it. I call it carrot top usually. Really nice here. So we broke through. We can go ahead and get rid of that resistance for now. And this shows it really more clear here that we have this really nice downside here now that we've broken this channel. So we'll be keeping an eye on this for sure. Biggest level to watch tomorrow is 405.3. If we break through that support, I would not be surprised to see an even larger sell-off down to at least 400.6 support. Biggest resistance to watch now is going to be this 410.6 level. A lot of price action happening right here. Going over to futures here, same thing. So let's get that bear channel that I was just showing you guys on SPY here on futures. Nice little bear channel here. Very nice. So potential, now this is obviously just projected. We'll have to see a little more interaction with it to get a better to get a better guess about where we're going to be at. But overall, this is what we should be watching. So as you can see here, we have a nice downtrend right here. Same thing. This is what I was watching this morning. So I was talking to some other people this morning, and I mentioned to them that I was watching because we hadn't broken through this key 4177 resistance, and we were rejecting here. And I actually wanted to go short on futures, and I haven't really done much of shorting futures. It's something that I'm attempting to learn better and throw into my tool bag here. But the biggest thing I noted was that we were not making that momentum up, and I really wanted to go short. We were right around like 4160-ish when I was talking about it, and I was going to set 4177 as my stop loss. And then you see here, we just lost it all. We came down to this really key 4145 support, broke straight through it, and then we came down to 4133, and this now is our resistance. So this is similar to that 410 0.6 resistance. So coming back up, if we have a big push up, this 4133 is going to be the big level to watch. Biggest thing that happened here though is this huge close under the daily AEMA, and the biggest thing that happened here on futures is that we closed below 40.95. Now look at 40.95 and look how important this level is. If you go back, and you can go even farther back, it's really hard when you zoom out on TradingView to see much more, but let me see if that'll help a little bit here. When you go back to even, this is back in May, you see this 40.95 level right here and the major importance of it. And actually, this is very similar to this May pop up here. We went all the way up here to this almost exact same 42.05 level, and then you see we lost it. Now, granted, there was a different time here with June CPI and stuff, but overall, this close below 40.95 is extremely bearish. Now, granted, we have CPI on Tuesday, so I would not really suggest just pouring into some long puts here, because obviously, if CPI happens to come in really good and markets react really good, we might get a blow off back up here, kind of like you saw in December. And I would not want to be on the wrong side of that. However, after CPI, I would think if we're still in this downtrend, would be a good time to start looking at some longs back to this 3,900 area. So tomorrow and really overnight, the most important level is 40.85 that I'm going to keep an eye on. If we lose 40.85, there realistically isn't much support until we get down to 40.30 and 40.40. So I've been talking about this on futures a lot, and it really happened right here, that we just have these huge areas of just no price action. Now, it doesn't mean that there's a gap. It's very much so different. When I say there's a gap in price action versus an actual gap on the chart, it's just a lack of price action. So when we pushed up all the way up here, there was huge lack of price action. So I talked about how I would like to see this come down and fill some areas. So we have the same thing. We had this huge push here from 405 all the way up here, and all this is just left unfilled basically. I would like to see some candles kind of like this in there to really confirm that support on the way up, kind of like we did here. We came through and we had some candle bodies, we confirmed support, and then we pushed back up. So I'm going to be looking for this 40.30 to 44 level to be tested possibly tomorrow if this momentum down continues. So looking at Tesla here, this is just a write-up from, it's in the daily TA, the written version of my Tesla trade, and some things that I learned, some things that I did good, some things I did bad about that trade. But let me fix this. I had adjusted my support line for that write-up to kind of show where I was thinking during that. It's a pretty good write-up. If you guys are interested, I would take a look at it. Talks about that Tesla 190 put I was in. Okay, so looking at Tesla here, last night Elon tweeted out some more stuff about that phase 3 stuff or whatever. So here you go, of course, massive 3% push up. So this is where it's different today though. So we came up here and we almost touched we touched 215, but I guess we hit a high of 214, but we didn't quite get the 215, which is that daily 200 EMA. So now we're at, and this pattern was also right here too, this massive rejection right here with a true abandoned baby. Some people will call this a shooting star pattern, an evening doji star pattern, but either way, this is very much so a toppy pattern. Now, it's Tesla, and nothing surprises me. And I wouldn't be surprised if we just continued straight up tomorrow. And I mean, look at today. I mean, you can look today. I mean, everybody's red pretty much besides Nvidia and Tesla. I mean, even Bitcoin's new candles open now, but even Bitcoin was red today, and everything else maintained. Or Tesla and of course Nvidia decided to stay green. So what I'm watching for tomorrow is at least a retest of 201.4 support. 203 is this gap fill. We had a huge gap up and our low was only 204.77, so about a 177 gap up. You can see after hours here, Tesla actually is starting to lose a little bit, down almost 1% now here. So I'm going to be looking for that. If we come any lower, next major target is really this 195 to 196 support. However, if Tesla does a Tesla tomorrow, we very well could come up here and touch 215 resistance and maybe even break over this daily 200 EMA. Another major thing that I'm watching, or that to note about Tesla, is it officially closed its 8th green day in a row. Now this candle is red because it closed lower than it opened, but it is a green close. So that is 8 days in a row now that it has traded green. This is its second longest consecutive green day streak. The longest streak it has is 10 days. So it'll be interesting to see if this gets a pullback tomorrow or not. The last piece of the puzzle here is the VIX. So I mentioned back here on Tuesday, and I showed it, that we broke this bull channel support. The same time that happened, this candle right here on Tuesday broke through this blue line that I've now adjusted, resistance line that was 4 months old, that dated back to October. This massive rising wedge being broken right here is a huge deal. And now markets didn't really react to it, and sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes we will get these signs, or whatever you want to call them, of these huge moves that might happen, and this is one of them. So we had a huge break of support, a major break of support, and a major break of resistance on the VIX. That those two things together is a very strong trend. However, as you can see, markets did not react to that. But now they are reacting. So sometimes, and I talked about this a little bit in the daily Tesla write-up, that you can be correct, but if you don't have the right DTE for that, you're wrong still. So here is a good example of if we would have pulled some 30 DTE puts right here, we would be very much so rewarded right now. So what I'm watching for in the VIX is this is its highest close since January 11th, which is the day before the previous CPI. We have now retaken 19.7. We are back over that daily 20 EMA and confirmed the daily 8 EMA as support. We should be looking for the VIX to kind of get up somewhere in this 21 to 22 area tomorrow. The very last thing to talk about here is Bitcoin. And I mentioned this earlier in the week. This was on Tuesday here, is that we had lost the daily 8 EMA support on Monday, and that we were on Tuesday rejecting, but we came up, we had a nice double top on Wednesday, and you can see now this is a major breakdown. So why is this important? This is a speculative risk on asset. If we see Bitcoin dumping, that is the first sign that the market is going to start retracing, because we are not going to see the money flying into this like we are here if they think the overall market is going to go down. They're going to be shorting stuff, and they're going to be going in puts and things like that. This is the biggest, this used to be very spot on back in like the beginning of the year here, where we had all this up and down, up and down. You used to be able to watch Bitcoin, especially back in this time, and you can see this March peak here is pretty close to the March peak in SPY. You used to be able to look at this and say, oh, okay, this Bitcoin's really starting to dump now, that we might see a dump on the market. Or Bitcoin's consolidating, we're not going to see a big move up like this. So that's kind of what I was talking about this week when I saw this consolidation happening here. And I was saying we might be getting close to the top. And it sure looks like we are. Key level to watch tonight on Bitcoin is this 21.2K and really the daily 200 EMA on Bitcoin. All right, hope you guys had a good day trading today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like to stay updated. Drop a comment if you have any questions. This is the permanent Discord link. Sometimes that does not work for whatever reason. Just go ahead and drop a comment, send me a message, and I will get you an updated link so you can get to the Discord. Some of the advantages of the Discord is I do a pre-market update with key support and resistance levels every day. And also throughout the day, I do live intraday commentary on SPY and the general market. And I also do live intraday buy and sell alerts. You can follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok as SPY Optionaire, and on Reddit as Daddy Dersh.